First, I want to show you the companies that are controlling everything. And that's where the red flag starts, right? And again, for listeners, I'm describing this as well, but I will also put it up on Instagram, right? Now, this is IoT analytics, essentially sort of like an industry report. It takes out industry reports, etc. Now, if you look at this is last to last year, right? And you look at the market share of leading vendors. There are three sections. One is data center GPUs, the other is foundational model and model platforms. And then the third section is not important, right? Because these are the companies, third section is companies that are actually using GenAI to build out products, right? But the people who are building the models, the foundational models, and the data center GPUs, that is what is important. If you look at data center GPUs, NVIDIA controlled at that point of time 92% of the market. It has not reduced. I think it has increased. I'm not sure, right? Foundational models also being built by just massive companies. Like you see Microsoft with 39% of the market, then AWS, Google, OpenAI, Anthropic. The other section of both of these smaller players are negligible, right? Now, these are the companies, keep this in mind because these are the companies we will be mostly talking about, right? From the hardware end, we'll be talking about NVIDIA. And from the foundational model building, the foundation models, like the LLMs that are being built out, we're going to talk about a bunch of them, including Microsoft and OpenAI and all, right? And we are going to talk specifically about how the money flows just between these fuckers. Okay. That's what Ponzi scheme is, right? It is money going from one hand to another and then another hand to the third hand. It's a very, very small, unsustainable closed loop, right? First, NVIDIA. What is NVIDIA doing? NVIDIA is making and selling enterprise level GPUs to the companies that are building the foundational models, right? So to your Microsoft, to your Anthropic, OpenAI, all of this, right? Let's look at the cost a little bit. Now we're going to talk money, right? I found this through this company called Jarvis. I hope it is Jarvis Labs, that rents out GPUs. Okay. And in that, it was mentioned that the cost of an H100 GPU, one of the GPUs of NVIDIA, that cost is approximately $25,000 per GPU. Okay. The newer ones are significantly higher. NVIDIA Blackwell Ultra GPUs that were announced last year, that was announced to be $30,000 to $40,000 each. And you need thousands of these, like thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of these, right, in data centers, considering the size of the data center, right? Let's look at one such deal, right, between Microsoft, NVIDIA, and this seemingly random unknown player called NScale, right? And I have taken this from the blog of Microsoft itself in September 2025 when it announced about its AI ventures, essentially, right? I'm quoting, today in Wisconsin, we announced Fairwater, our newest US AI data center, the largest and most sophisticated AI factory we have built yet. In addition to our Fairwater data center in Wisconsin, we also have multiple identical Fairwater data centers under construction in other locations across the US. In Narvik, Norway, Microsoft announced plans with NScale and Acre JV to develop a new hyperscale AI data center. Acre JV, another such participant, but not in the production side. It's a fund. It puts in money, right? Acre JV also you will see involved in a bunch of things, right? In Loughton, UK, we announced a partnership with NScale to build the UK's largest supercomputer to support services in the UK. These AI data centers are significant capital projects representing tens of billions of dollars of investments and hundreds of thousands of cutting edge AI chips and will seamlessly connect with our global Microsoft cloud of over 400 data centers in 70 regions across the world, right? Billions of dollars, tens of billions of dollars This is, remember, it is just being pulled in right now. This money is going in. Okay. So what is happening? What does this deal mean, right? Basically, Microsoft is buying and in some cases renting NVIDIA GPUs from NScale. Okay, that is the agreement. NScale, the company, to build their data centers. The logical conclusion would be that NScale has bought these GPUs from NVIDIA and is a broker of sorts, right? It might be that. But the interesting part is that one of NScale's key investor is NVIDIA itself. So NVIDIA has paid NScale. NScale is now for buying GPUs. So NVIDIA is paying NScale to buy its own GPUs and sell it to Microsoft. Right? And legally, this is fine. Don't get me wrong. But in every other usual way, this is just weird. This is Ponzi schemish, right? And the more you delve into it, the more it comes out that this is this weird circular structure. Okay, I am paying you so that you can buy from me. How is that logical? How is that in any manner creating any kind of economic impact, right? Now, after this announcement of partnership with Microsoft came out, right? The NScale, NVIDIA, and Microsoft partnership, there was an article in the Financial Times saying NVIDIA chief Jensen Huang, side note, if you guys haven't looked up Jensen Huang, oh my God, he is the biggest proponent of GenAI and AI today, obviously, because NVIDIA, at least right now, it gets money out of it, right? Intolerable little fuck. Okay. Anyway, NVIDIA chief Jensen Huang said last week that the US chipmaker would invest 500 million pounds into NScale as a part of the deal to sell the startup as many as 300,000 of its AI chips. So it is putting in 500 million pounds so that NScale can buy 300,000 of its AI chips from NVIDIA. It's a dumbass deal. Anyway, however, only part of NVIDIA's funding pledge was included in this round, NScale said. Huang said that the chips would be able to build AI facilities capable of generating as much as 50 billion pounds in revenues over the next 6 years. 3 months ago, we convinced ourselves that NScale could be a national champion in the UK, said Huang. 50 billion pounds in revenue is projected. If you know anything of tech history, their projections don't come true. Ever. Right? Fiber optics, they overestimated, crashed. Dot-com boom, overestimated, crashed. Crypto, overestimated, Bitcoin, crashed. Right? It just doesn't happen. They are eternally optimistic people for some reason. Okay? But sure, let's give the benefit of doubt to large corporates that have repeatedly throughout history have only lied to us and ruined the world. Okay? Maybe there's some separate legal issue that makes this separate company as NScale necessary. I will give that. Okay, that maybe NScale has to be a part of this to make it legally feasible for, I don't know, NVIDIA to be able to deal with other companies. What's concerning is the amount of money being dumped into NScale and other AI companies without any data whatsoever to support that this industry is actually going somewhere, right? As of today, NScale's financials, so I looked up, I'll again link it. There's this platform called Traxen. Absolutely asshole way of naming their website. TRACXN. NScale's funding, right? How did it, what rounds did it raise? How much funds did it raise? We are going to talk about that. Now, in December 2023, when this company was formed, it raised a seed capital of $30 million, right? Then in December 2024, within another year, it raised Series A of $155 million. This was mostly by like funds, VCs and funds, right? Like Santon Capital and Blue Sky and all of these guys, right? Then in September 18th, 2025, which is less than a year later, they raised Series B worth $1.1 billion with a B. Okay. And this is where all these other companies started getting involved, right? So Acre was involved, the one we talked about, the fund that we talked about while talking about the engagement with Microsoft. Then some other funds were also involved, but interestingly, there were also companies like Dell, Nokia. I don't know what the fuck Nokia is doing in this. Like Nokia is just like it just keeps investing in one failed venture after the other. It's insane. Nvidia again.
Isn't
Isn't
it?
Nokia acquired by Microsoft or someone? Like
Yes,
Nokia is not
which is
Nokia
what
Yeah.
anymore, right?
but it might be like, again, legally, it might still be another organization because Microsoft also invested in this. Okay. So remember, when the Microsoft deal happened, right after that, Microsoft invested in this. So Microsoft is buying from NScale after giving them money.
Huh?
Okay. Then OpenAI also invested in this, right? So the circle jerk gets slightly bit bigger, but it's still a circle jerk, right? This, I want to mention a couple of aspects in this, right? NScale in its press release said that the GPUs being supplied to Microsoft is being done in collaboration with Dell. Fuck knows what this collaboration means because financial journalists are too busy sucking Huang's dick to actually investigate anything. Like, literally, I had such a hard time preparing for this episode. It took me 3 weeks of searching information after information after information because most financial reporting is one paper coming out with an article, which is just basically the press release turned into a different into the form of reporting for some reason where they're reporting absolutely nothing, and then everybody just says the same thing again and again and again.
Okay, that's good. I had just a very small question. Why
Yeah,
in this hypothetical scenario of yours, everyone is just constantly sucking dick? I mean, there are other actions to also do. Like
such as
everyone seems to be sucking dick here, I
that
don't
is
know.
that's exactly what is happening. Like, either they're jacking each other off. Like, it's very surprising. Otherwise, why would journalists not do their job? why is why are papers most newspapers and most of the reporting just talking about what these guys are doing without going behind the scenes even a little bit? I mean, if I were to read about what these guys are doing, I from their own words, I can just go to their own blogs and press releases, right? Why do I need a fucking journalist? It's really insane, right? And I genuinely don't have any other logic to this.
Hmm. Fair.
Okay.
Let them all suck dick.
Yeah, I mean, fine, but please give us information on the side. But anyway, Microsoft also is an investor in NScale. So Microsoft is paying money to NScale to sell to Microsoft, like I mentioned, which is just weird. Again, no reference of this in journalistic reports, right? It is either you have to hunt it down like this, or it is common people talking about it in small corners, right? Microsoft, by the way, is also an investor. Of course, it now almost owns
Mm.
OpenAI, right? NVIDIA has also now invested in OpenAI. So this orgy sort of continues constantly. And NVIDIA and OpenAI, by the way, also have a similar engagement. Like, I am quoting for the sake of simplicity, right? Because I don't want to get into another deal so much in depth. I am quoting Twitter, a tweet. But I have looked this up and the information is accurate, right? So this
Mm-hmm.
tweet says that Oracle says OpenAI committed $300 billion for cloud compute. This is September 2025, right? Oracle says OpenAI committed $300 billion for cloud compute. So at that point of time, Oracle stock increased quite a lot. Then Oracle runs on NVIDIA GPUs. So it has to buy billions in chips from NVIDIA. Then NVIDIA announced that they are investing $100 billion in OpenAI. So OpenAI uses money to pay Oracle, who pays NVIDIA, who invests in OpenAI. That's not how an economy is supposed to run.
Just on a very short side note,
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned all of this, if you quickly take a peek at ChatGPT's, which is basically the property of OpenAI, if you look at ChatGPT's logo, it looks like a pineapple from the top. Make of that what you will. Just in case someone, just in case
For
someone
those who
doesn't
don't
know the
know, yeah.
implications of a pineapple, pineapple is widely considered to be the telltale sign of someone who's into swinger parties
Swinging.
or
Yeah.
they're open to swinging, basically.
Yeah.
So couples and people who are into swinging, they usually put a pineapple on their porch to indicate that, yes, I'm open and available.
So
So maybe that's why.
we don't just debunk conspiracy theories in some of our episodes, we also create them. Way to go, Sandy.
If only someone took this up and ran with it, but no one will. So
Okay. Now, you see this trend. Now, the money part also, right? So back to the funding of NScale. NScale raised its last round of $1.1 billion on September 18th, 2025. On October 1st, literally 12 days later, 12 days after raising the largest Series B ever in European history, it again raised $433 million in pre-Series C round. And this time by Blue Owl, again Dell, again NVIDIA, and again Nokia, along with other existing Series B and new investors. It's a mad rush. It is just an insane mad rush from VCs and companies to invest. And of course, this would make sense if there is any real profit. Okay. Or even right now, like while preparing for this, I was also concerned if there is any real revenue. Even that seems a little dicey to me, right? Because they're all just giving money to each other, right? But let's look at the profitability a little bit, right? So OpenAI saw losses of $12 billion in the third quarter of 2025. Anthropic lost $5.3 billion in 2024, and we do not have the data of 2025 because these fuckers don't disclose their financial statements publicly.